For years, the Council for Exceptional Children has been dedicated to advancing the success of children with exceptionalities. They accomplish this mission through advocacy standards and professional development. In 2020, thousands of educators are convening in Portland, Oregon to continue providing the latest in special education with a large variety of topics for everyone from veteran to first-time educators. Stay tuned to catch a glimpse at what's taking place this year in Portland. CEC TV starts right now. Hello and welcome to our first episode at the 2020 CEC annual meeting. My name is Ayanna Berkshire and I'm here to bring you all the latest at this year's meeting. Today we sit down with new executive director and take an in-depth look at a couple of programs in the U.S. that are doing exceptional work in education. Let's go ahead and kick off with an exclusive interview with the CEC president. We're joined now by Jennifer Lesh, the CEC president. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm so pleased to be here.
Great. We're happy to have you. So, our first question is, what is the value of division membership?
Division membership really makes CEC special. There are 18 different divisions in Council for Exceptional Children, and you can find your home in any one of those divisions, from Division of Autism and Developmental Disabilities to Council for Administrators of Special Education, to the Council for Emotional Behavior Disorders. There is a place for all special educators in the 18 divisions, and it really allows you to kind of drill down and hone into your specialty and find like-minded folks to have solution-oriented conversations and networking. It really adds a major value to your Council for Exceptional Children membership.
What support does the CEC offer for its student members?
That's my passion. For me, I'm at the pinnacle of my career, and I am in my 5th year working with teacher prep. CEC is such a major wealth of evidence-based practices and knowledgeable professionals that you can hone into. We have the CEC community that students can ask questions. Every day I go on there and look and see, and there are students asking, can you help me with this? Can you help me? I have a child in my class that's doing whatever. Is there suggestions? And so many professionals they jump on board and just give 1 or 2 lines or paragraphs of solutions for people. And so that's one piece. Another piece is with the Pioneer Division has been for a while now. They have a mentoring program, which is wonderful. So you have access to these professionals that have been in special education for some for decades and some for as little as 10 years. So we are here for all members. But my personal focus this year as president is to really work with those early career professionals and those pre-service teachers. So I'm looking forward to it.
What should members be excited about as far as the direction in which the CEC is moving?
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't know how much I can tell here, but...
Tell it all.
Oh, well, first of all, I have to say, we just hired Chad Rummel, and he is absolutely amazing. We are actually doing some tours later today, and we started some last night, and everywhere we've gone, he is just... folks are jazzed about his knowledge, his expertise, his association expertise. He's very techy. We're going to do some revamping on our website, some rebranding of our name, and really move us so that we can actually help those early career and pre-service teachers. The website is being redone. He's promising to have it ready to go by the beginning of the school year. And we are really amping up our policy and advocacy so that we have a voice on the Hill, and we have tentacles at the state level and below. So we are really working on our 3 pillars. And Chad, he's been here 4 weeks now, and he really has a pulse of what we need to do. So as soon as this convention is over, he's hitting the ground running with all of these ideas that he has going. So it's very exciting.
Wow, well, it sounds like you made some real headway in your role as president this year. It's very exciting. Is there anything else that you're looking to tackle before your term is over?
Well, I definitely want to put an emphasis on pre-service teachers and early career teachers because over 48 states have shortages of special education teachers. And special education teachers leave the field at a much faster rate than their general education counterparts. So I really want to help us close that gap and elevate our profession because we are special. And we do work with so many different students. All of our exceptional children and youth deserve a qualified special educator. And so my goal is to really elevate our profession and really emphasis with our pre-service and early career professionals.
Well, Jennifer Lesh, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
we
you.
Sure appreciate it. I'm excited to speak with Chad Rummel, the CEC Executive Director. Hi, Chad. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. As the new Executive Director, what do we get to expect from you this year?
You know, CEC is very proud of its 3 pillars: professional standards, advocacy, and professional development. And we're going to keep those going strong. But I see also a 4th pillar that we don't talk about, and that's community and network building. That's what everybody in CEC wants. It's why many have stuck around for so many years. And so I look forward to working with members to reinvigorate those local connections, to recharge our units and chapters, make sure everyone has the chance to get involved and connect outside of those 3 pillars. Not to say we're not going to focus hardcore on all 3 of those pillars, making our stance on Capitol Hill, but it's also important for us to recognize the value of each person in the association, and that's what I look forward to working on in the coming year.
It seems like this is a terrific opportunity for those connections to be made.
It all starts here. There are so many people that are here for their first time. There are people that have been coming for years and years and years, and they get to meet, they have coffee, they ride the train together, and so this is the start of a lot of connections for many people who are just getting started in CEC overall.
I know you've just talked about the 4 pillars, the 3 pillars plus the added one. What are some other things the CEC will be focusing on?
You know, for me, making sure our brand is as strong as it can be will be really important in the coming year. When politicians or congressional staffers, agencies, teachers, when they look to CEC, they look for us to be the powerhouse, to have all the resources, to have the expertise, and we do have all of that. But I want to make sure in the coming year we're pushing that out in the right direction, that we're really developing a strategy for how we sell CEC. When somebody hears the name Council for Exceptional Children, they should know it stands for the #1 resources in the field, and we have them. And that's what I look forward to really building on, including a new website rollout coming this fall before school starts, looking at some new membership incentives to get new people in who may have heard about us but haven't joined yet. If we build that brand even stronger than it is, we'll continue to see the growth that CEC needs to really implement those 3 pillars in the coming years.
And how can members get more involved with the association?
CEC is a large ecosystem of divisions and units and chapters, and they kind of work their way down. There's usually a local chapter somewhere that somebody can get involved with. There might be a special interest group through the divisions that really piques their interest, and if none of that is a really good fit, any member can email me and we'll find you a home in CEC. There are a lot of opportunities to get involved, a lot of opportunities to be engaged, and I'm happy to be that conduit for anybody who's still looking for their place in CEC.
Oh, fantastic. It sounds like the CEC is so lucky to have you on board. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you, I appreciate that very much.
Over the past few years, the field of special education has embraced high leverage practices, but important questions remain regarding implementation, assessment, and how to provide teachers with coaching and feedback needed for improvement. Let's take a closer look.
The 5 key high leverage practices: number 1, for professionals to collaborate in order to serve all students. The second one I would note is number 6, which comes out of the assessment domain, and it really goes along with HLP number 20, so it's really 2 in 1. And the gist of 6 and 20 is to collect a range of data sources on student performance and then use those data to make important instructional decisions on behalf of children, which then leads to intensification of instruction that they might need. I also like to highlight HLP number 7, which is to create a consistent, organized, and respectful learning environment. Certainly number 16, use explicit instruction, is the backbone of every special education teacher's repertoire. I don't think you can be a special ed teacher if you're not providing explicit instruction. And the final is also a twofer. It's HLPs both 8 and 22. It's so nice they list it twice. And it's to provide high quality feedback, both in the academic and behavioral domains. Students crave and thrive when they receive high quality feedback on their performance, whether it's academic or behavioral. I'm excited about the difference the HLPs have made in classrooms. It's really helped practitioners to think about the nuance of the practice that they're implementing. And one other common mistake that I hear is people think about, okay, today I'm going to implement HLP number 16, or I'm going to provide HLP number 7. But that's not the way the HLPs work. The HLPs work in combinations with one another. And it's very common and in fact regular that they would be providing perhaps 3, 4, 5 HLPs all at the same time. And this is the really exciting part, the HLPs also interact with existing evidence-based practices, which is a whole other set of practices that teachers need to know about and be implementing in their classrooms. So it's clear to me that many of the HLPs are indeed in teachers' repertoires. My role, as I see it, as both a teacher, educator, and someone who provides professional development in the field, is to help teachers sharpen their capacity to implement these practices with precision.
The Texas School Ready program is a comprehensive preschool teacher training program that has been proven effective to close achievement gaps for at-risk children. The model has been refined and innovated through multiple large-scale studies and combines professional development, coaching, child progress monitoring, and research-based curricula. Let's take a closer look.
The Children's Learning Institute has a focus and a mission to support very high-risk children who might have learning problems later on, often because of factors such as poverty. We do research, clinical programs, and a lot of work in schools to help teachers and parents support their children's development. The Children's Learning Institute has a very unique model. We first start with the research. With grants, we can test out whether our programs are going to be effective with teachers, families, and children. Then we partner with agencies across the state and the country and take that program into real-life settings. We do that with the use of technology. The Texas School Ready program is one of the Children's Learning Institute's big efforts. It came about from the state of Texas legislation saying to us, find something that works with child care centers, with teachers in public school, or with teachers in Head Start. The components of the Texas School Ready program that were found to be effective in our research are intensive professional development to train teachers in literacy, math, social skill development. It's a progress monitoring system that helps teachers know how children are developing, a curriculum, and face-to-face coaching to support teachers to put the program in place.
Alief is a school district in the west side of Houston, Texas. It's one of the most diverse school districts in the state. We have around 90 languages in our classrooms, and we have a highly diverse population. And in general, the community is known as the international district in the city.
So Alief ISD's mission is preparing students for tomorrow while caring for them today. And it is our belief that we need to start with our youngest learners. So there's a lot of emphasis on early childhood education in our district. Well, the Texas School Ready program has definitely benefited our district. In the past 5 years since I've started working with Alief in this capacity of early childhood department, one of the things we wanted to do was increase the communication and the collaboration with the private child care centers. And Texas School Ready has allowed us to do this. And we've seen, when we look at the data, we see that the students that are in the Texas School Ready program are outperforming those students that are either were at home or in different childcare settings.
I have seen a lot of benefits of the Texas School Ready program already in our community. A lot of the times teachers come to us after 1 or 2 years of training and they tell us, I feel like a teacher now. Families have been making comments about the benefits of the program, and whenever they see now the banners of the Texas School Ready, they know that there's quality in that center and they want to get their children there. My main hope is the professionalization of the field, getting better opportunities for teachers, for students to learn more and be ready for the challenges of the school and the life.
Developing Talkers is a fun program for early childhood teachers to use if they want to improve their children's language skills. So it's 2 parts. It's a supplemental curriculum based on read-alouds and small group lessons, as well as professional development for teachers to learn how to facilitate rigorous and challenging conversations in their classroom. Part of what's innovative about the Developing Talkers program is that it exemplifies the Children's Learning Institute model of research to practice. So we started with developing a curriculum based on teacher partnerships and teachers' articulated needs. And then we did many, many years of iterative development with teachers to refine the model and to constantly improve the Developing Talkers program. And now we are moving into larger efficacy studies that continue to unpack exactly what makes this program effective for teachers and students.
I think the Children's Learning Institute is particularly unique because we have this broad array of expertise in the Institute. Faculty that are experts in math, literacy, STEM, language, and all of that expertise comes together in a very integrated, collaborative way to support the work we do for the children of Texas. Brain development in the early years is so critical to children's later learning. And so the role we will play at the Children's Learning Institute in this future goal is to provide resources not just for children in the pre-K years, but in the infant and toddler years when the brain is so rapidly developing and it's in response to stimulation.
Arkansas has created an innovative Medicaid model that allows treatment options for children and adults that meet their needs rather than their diagnosis. Let's take a moment to see how they've laid the foundation to allow unique service options for children and adults with either significant behavioral health needs, developmental disabilities, or both.
PASS stands for Provider-Led Shared Savings Entity. It is a spin on managed care. It's a unique model that was designed for Arkansas. We initially launched phase 1 in February of 2018, and then in March of this past year, we went full risk. So the organizations took over total cost of care.
The people who benefit the most from a program like PASS are those who might be in danger of going into institutional settings or residential settings. And those individuals in this program are those with a behavioral health issue or an issue related to an intellectual or developmental disability, or those that have both. I think one of our biggest challenges here in Arkansas has been providing treatment for those that have both issues outside of an institutional setting. So those people in this program get home and community-based services that keep them in those settings.
The PASS program is important because it's a completely new type of model of healthcare here in Arkansas for children and adults with developmental disabilities and behavioral health needs.
It is important to create treatment plans that meet need instead of diagnosis, because the diagnostic categories that are provided are pretty broad, and people have different needs within those broad diagnostic categories. So those services should be available to focus on those functional needs, not on the diagnosis.
The PASS has been positive for us because Isabella is very complex in her medical care. It is centered around improving her life, and that includes her health and her quality of life.
And so Isabella is very medically complex, and we actually have to go out of state for some of her health care because there isn't a provider in this state for it. They have helped make sure that provider's paid and paid on time, and it's nice to have somebody on board that wants to do that besides just me. And before the pass, there was really not one person that was just devoted to that besides myself, it felt like. And so the programs brought the care coordination that it brings for Isabella and the goals and the focus on her, and to be able to be goal-oriented and to make sure that we're overcoming any obstacles that we run into, and the access that I have to the care coordinators is really been a huge support for us.
The PASS program works by incentivizing its providers to provide more intensive health care on a daily basis and avoid high-cost health care, such as emergency room visits and hospitalizations. Healthcare problems where if you don't take care of them immediately, they get worse. And anytime something gets worse, it gets more expensive. So the way the model is set up is to incentivize providers to do monitoring and care of their members so they never get to the point, or if they do, it's for a very short time, of needing some acute health care.
As a network provider under the PASS system, our experience has changed under the new program because we're allowed to work with the care coordinators who work for the PASSes. The care coordinators work with us to help provide individualized care for each of the clients in the PASS. And we can be creative in our treatment plans. Previously, we were able to do treatment plans with individualized goals and objectives, but now we're able to be creative in the actual treatment that we provide and actually receive reimbursement for that. And by providing better care and individualized treatment, we're able to get better outcomes. For example, both children and adults may have a dual diagnosis, such they may have a diagnosis of a behavioral health issue as well as a developmental issue. Kids and adults with autism previously had a difficulty in finding services that were available. With the new PASS system, we're now able to serve kids who have behavioral health issues as well as, for instance, an autism diagnosis. We've been able to do creative services to be able to help them and their families and get them back out into the community as soon as possible.
From the PASS, we have seen very positive interaction because, for example, my daughter and I are going to be attending a doctor's appointment, and they will go with us to help advocate and articulate what I feel like I might possibly not be able to during this particular doctor's appointment. And that's just the kind of support we need. The most exciting thing about the future of the PASS program to me is that it's not one set standard. It's tailored to each individual. So my daughter may have a plan that is like this, while another person may have a plan that's like this. And because of the individualization, she gets more of her needs met because it's not just one set standard.
What excites me most about the PASS program is that the model is flexible and it's outside of the usual confinement of Medicaid in terms of there's only this certain type of service, everybody has to fit into that package. This model allows very flexible and a wide range of services in the community to meet the needs of the individual. It's important to create individualized treatment plans for clients because every client is different. No two individuals are the same, and they should not be treated the same. So treatment plans should be tailored with specific services for exactly what people need.
Every year, we love to hear from you, the members, to see what's on your mind. This time, we want to start with finding out what made you become a special educator and why you continue to do it.
I got into special education to make a difference for our students that were struggling and needed extra supports to be successful in the classroom. And I wanted to make sure that students that were identified for special education really belonged in special education, and that we weren't missing their needs, whether it was through our learning environment or curriculum or other items that were, in place in the classroom that weren't really helping or assisting them to reach the state standards. Once I got into special education, I fell in love with it, and I really realized that there was a need for both our administrators and our teachers to gain knowledge in special education. I felt like that was a big gap. That we had a lot of knowledge with our skilled special education teachers, but that we needed to think a little bit more broadly than that.
So I was approached about a position with special needs children, and I was a little fearful because I really didn't have experience. I, by accident, became engaged with the students before I was engaged with the people that were interviewing me. They were discussing something that they didn't understand, and the teacher wasn't in the room, and so I started talking to them about the subject that they were having a struggle with. And over the intercom, they said, "Mr. Weinroth, when your lesson is finished, we're waiting for you in the principal's office." And from then it became my career.
A special education teacher, and a high quality special education teacher, can make the difference between leading an independent whole life as an adult and being, in worst case scenarios like institutionalized or living at home and not having any sort of decent post-school outcomes. And so really the driving force for why special education is kind of that idea of results, equity, and inclusion, that all kids should belong by default, and we have a moral and an ethical imperative to build systems that allow them to do that.
I wanted to be that voice for students and be able to speak up for them, and I enjoy every moment working with the students. So when I talk about them as they're my kids. So my family is actually, they have to consider, am I talking about my real kids or am I talking about my student kids, because they're all the same. So I just wanted to help make a difference with the students and know that they'll be successful when they get out of high school.
I hope you've enjoyed our first episode as we took a closer look at some amazing programs in the U.S. working hard to improve education for children with exceptionalities, as well as hearing from CEC leadership. That's it for today, but don't forget to tune in tomorrow to hear more about the latest at CEC 2020. We'll see you tomorrow.